Welcome to the Jerry Gray channel. This channel that talks about narcissists. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into the topic. But first, I want to go ahead and say, hit a like, give me a subscribe, and leave a comment. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. This video is going to be about what body language you come away with after having narcissistic parents. This is one way that a narcissistic parent continues to, I guess, sabotage your life without even being around you. Long after they're gone, you think that you can move on, but your body language will still show the signs of the abuse, the signs of you being mistreated and being bullied for years. And so people respond to that. People aren't kind. People have been taught to be predatory, so they're just looking at your weaknesses and analyzing them and seeing what they can get from you and seeing who they're going to hang around with and who they're not going to hang around with. And if you have this type of problem, you're probably going to be in the not group. That's just how it is. But you have to understand where it comes from so that you can solve it. And mainly, there's a few different things that you can have that we're going to talk about in this video as far as your body language goes that sends off a signal that gets people to think the wrong thing about you. And so the first one is the number one sign that you've grown up in a narcissistic home is your body language. And the first sign that normally is going to pop up that people notice is going to be you holding your head down. Now, this comes from trying not to be seen, trying not to make eye contact in your house, and just walking around with your head slightly tilted down. You probably went into your own world a lot and was on your phone or was looking down at some type of screen, and you get to the point where you have that you have a chin tucked position, and people tend to disrespect and mistreat people who have their head down. They walk around if you walk around with your chin tucked in, everybody kind of has this posture, like the computer posture, but there's degrees to it. Some people really hold their head down, and people read that as you just have low self-esteem. Just right off the bat, you have really low self-esteem. You're a really damaged person, and depending on other signs that you have will basically control how much disrespect and how much mistreatment you get. But this is like the number one sign. You got to have your head up. You need to work on that. Work on that. Having your head down is also has to do with having the shelled up body language type of posture, where you're just kind of tucking yourself in, rolling your shoulders forward and crouching down and almost going to the fetal position. It's even a boxer tucks their chin to protect from getting knocked out. And so it's a protective stance. And it just is what it is. People look down on that. The next thing is just having high shoulders. Having slightly raised shoulders all of the time can make it look like you're just anxious and you're carrying around all this tension all the time. You're not comfortable. It's almost like you are a child. People will see that as almost childish. People see social anxiety as childish. And they see you as a mentally immature person. If you are an adult and you're walking around anxious, and if you have it all the time where there's no specific thing, it's like how a child would be around adults. If there's a bunch of adults around and they were alone, they would feel shy and timid, and they would have their shoulders raised. But you're an adult, and people don't think about outside situations and be like, oh, well, he must have been abused or she must have been abused or something has gone on. They just think that there's something wrong with you, that you're remedial. It's something about having raised shoulders that people really write you off with that. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into this next one. having a tight neck and having a lot of tension in your neck where you can't turn your head the same, like smoothly, like everybody else, and look around the room smoothly. It's almost like your neck is so stiff that you don't really turn your head fully when you look to different directions, and you start to look out of the corner of your eyes instead of turning your head to face things and look. And if I were to show you a picture that, you would understand how that looks like you're almost like a creepy type of thing, like you're spying on people, and also like you're nervous, like you're scared to look at people in the eyes. And it comes from maybe having that, like you're afraid to look people in the eyes, but also just being a person who's has a really stiff neck from all the tension that goes on. You're just having raised shoulders, a head that's tilted down, and all of that. It's a symptom of having anxiety and tension in your body, and it manifests all up in that upper region, and it makes it where you don't have looseness in your movements. You don't turn your head loosely and learn, and you know what I mean, like and turn. And so you kind of, look out the corner of your eyes more than turn your head. I see people do this a lot, and it looks like you're scared, just looking at it. You don't really want to look out the corner of your eyes at things as much. You want to, if you look at something, you just want to turn your head and look. But looking out the corner of your eyes a lot just makes you look like, a small creature who's constantly, got the beady eyes, looking both ways, using your full peripherals before you can take a step. You know what I'm saying? Before you go anywhere, let me really look. You don't want to give that impression either. So basically, you don't want to have like all this stiffness upstairs. And usually people who are abused carry a lot of that stiff, raised shoulders, tucked chin, stiffness in their neck, where they're not really turning their head and they don't look loose at all. They're looking out the corner of their eyes at stuff. Their heads tilted down, almost in a bowing position, and they just look super anxious. Shoulders raised. Every situation. I'm uncomfortable in every situation. And people read that the wrong way. They don't understand narcissistic abuse if they've never gone through it, and they just make assumptions about you that aren't going to be flattering, and you face the consequences. And that's a gift that keeps on giving from the narcissist. And you got to get massages. It's like a huge deal. Like, you got to stretch that area. Take it serious. Don't go around and be like, or half do it, like, one day kind of, it's an everyday fight to get that type of tension away. Like, it's really deep within you. The longer you've been in those environments around your parents getting bullied, you carry it around. So you need to take it serious, get massages, stretch, and just work on it. Open yourself back up.